I've been able to spend about a week driving around this new Ford F-150 Lightning, and I've got things that I like and things that I don't like about this Lightning coming right up. Real quick before we get started, I want you to know this is not a full review. If you want to see a detailed video of this Lightning, be sure to look in the description below. These are just some pros and cons, but let's jump into it. Now, starting with my dislikes, in no particular order, well, this one probably is my least favorite thing actually. It's the fact that the extended range battery is going to be a minimum of $10,000 extra, and sometimes $20,000. I was dressing up an XLT, trying to go extended range battery, at least as of right now in 2022, and it was about $20,000 more. That's insane. It's 90 miles more of range. You get more ability with towing and more Pro Power onboard power, but still, part two to that is that this Pro model, this is the Pro Series. This is the base model. This one came from Ford as a fleet vehicle, and Pro Series models cannot have the extended range battery unless it's a fleet specific vehicle. It's kind of a bummer. If you wanted to go for the base model Ford Lightning but get a higher end battery, you can't do it. Dislike number two is going to be the overall body. Now, not the way that it looks, but that this is the only configuration you can get, a crew cab with a short box. Obviously, this is how Ford sells most of their trucks, so I totally understand, but as of right now, you can only get a short box, you can only get a crew cab, no extended, no single, no long box. That's just the way it is. This is a 5.5 foot bed, and I totally get that a lot of you are gonna buy this, but for the tradesmen, the people that are actually going to use it for work and maybe even buy this Pro Series, a longer bed would be really nice to have. Just something I wanted to mention. The next thing is really minor, and it's not a knock on this particular Lightning. Let me open up the charging door. So we've got a plug right there. Obviously this is all electric. That's my complaint, is that it's only electric or it's only hybrid. Ford offers the hybrid model. They offer this electric model. There's no plug-in hybrid yet. I wish there was a plug-in hybrid version. You could have excellent range, still have all the electric capability and Pro Power onboard stuff, but not have to have the range anxiety that you get with just an electric vehicle. Maybe someday they'll offer a plug-in hybrid, but just thought I'd let you know. Now let's get into the likes, because there's a lot more to like about it than there is to dislike. All right, y'all, let's start things off with my likes. Now, first like, in no particular order, is just how well it drives. And the Pro Series model we have right here is going to drive just as good as those top end models too. Now, this does have the extended range battery, which most Pro Series won't, but torque is the same across the board. So you get great torque, you've got the same suspension, you've got the same nice drivability. We're in one pedal drive mode on here. That's an option if you want to drive it like an EV. You don't even hardly have to use the brake pedal. I mean, I took my foot off the gas, foot off the brake too, and it'll stop you. You can drive like that if you want to. You have sport mode, normal mode as well, but just the overall driving characteristic of this is really fun. I mean, it's really fun. It's just a blast to drive. Pedal down. And it gets up and scoots in no time. It's just crazy. And this is the base model, people, let me tell you. Now, sport mode, even just a little bit of pedal down, jeez, and it just grabs and goes. It's crazy. It handles fairly well. It's got a good ride comfort. So the base model, all F-150 Lightnings are just fun to drive, and they drive very well. Now, the next thing that I'm going to say that I like is under here. You've probably seen this. People have talked a lot about this, but it's this mega power frunk, a front trunk. And it's just massive. It's absolutely monster. It's like a Civic sedan trunk area under the hood of your F-150 Lightning. You've got these cargo nets right here. You've got a ton of hooks. So you've got 4 different hooks that you can sling grocery bags, items like that, and there's 400-pound capacity ability to throw work-related tools and items and things like that. Extra little storage under here is always nice. You can have dividers in here as well. This is waterproof, it's drainable. You've got tie downs on here. You've got lights, check it out. You've got 2 LED lights up here for working in here at night. You even got an escape button right there. And look at the plugs right here. This is the next thing that I'm gonna talk about. The next thing is Pro Power Onboard. I talk more about this in the full review, but look at this. You've got plugs galore. You've got 4 120 volt plugs. You've got a couple of USB ports right here. This is part of what you get with the electric aspect of the truck. The hybrid has it too, but it is all out on this particular electric model. There's more. In the bed of the truck, look at this. You even have a 240 volt plug right there. You've got a couple more 120 volts and a couple more 120 volts right there. This is insane. The next part of this is that there's like 9.6 kilowatt of peak power that this can put out, and you can even have it hooked up to be a home generator. You can power a whole house for about 3 days, or you can ration it and get by for about 10 days. That is awesome. The next thing that I like is that Ford gives you a charging cord with it and a box, and it even comes with a 240 volt 14 to 50 amp plug right here. This is a 30 amp charger, so you don't have to go buy a fancy charger. You don't have to buy a cord at all. It also will come with a typical 120 volt plug. Let me show you. So all you got to do is plug it into here. Easy to charge at home, but instead of buying a whole get up, if you have a 220 volt or 240 volt plug in your garage or wherever you charge, or access to one, you don't have to buy anything. You already have the cord, so you could just have a 240 volt plug installed and you'll be good to go. I say this is a like because the last EV I was in didn't come with a charging cord at all. And most of them just come with a 120 volt plug, which gives you just a few miles per hour of range. But you can plug it in overnight, be mostly all charged up with this home charger. That's fantastic. The next thing, we're gonna hop inside, and it's the fact that, let me show you. Take a look. All right, does anything look familiar or unfamiliar or complicated? My favorite thing, I think, about this F-150 is that it's not weird. And what I mean by that is that everything is just the way it has been in Ford with their regular F-150s. There's not a lot to get used to. It's not like some kind of cyber alien type of vehicle where there's no buttons and where it's just complicated to use like a brand new phone. You just jump in and drive. I mean, everything is the way you would expect. Not to pick on Tesla or anything, but electric vehicles are just becoming a little more complicated. And if you don't want a complicated vehicle or something that takes getting used to, the F-150 Lightning doesn't take any extra getting used to. Now the next like is something very small and most of you probably won't care, but check it out. Go to features and you have onboard scales, even on this base model, to where you can actually see how much payload you have and how much you have available. This is really cool. This could come in handy for work sites, people that have to actually weigh in at certain things. This is pretty awesome that you can actually monitor that on here. So after spending a week with this Lightning, I've got to say I really like what Ford did. You saw the things that I like and the things that I don't like, and there's really not much that I don't like. It's not really worth complaining about that much. Obviously, no vehicle is perfect, and some of you are going to have more things that you don't like about this truck, and some of you will have nothing that you don't like about it. But leave your thoughts down below. I would love to hear what you think. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.